Hi there, welcome back. Going to be rebuilding a KYB shock out of my 04 WR450. I didn't film the disassembly of the bike because that's boring. I also did not film the removal of the spring. This is the spring, because that's boring. In order to remove the spring from these shocks, all you do is back off these adjusters and then take off this collar and the spring just comes out. So anyway, here we have the shock. Let me go back a little bit. See, there it goes, there's the shock. And a couple things that I noticed right away. So there seems to be a little bit of oil seepage coming through here. Maybe that could be oil. I definitely have a little bit of residual oil here on the shaft. So we got a couple leaks. The other thing I noticed is underneath this bumper I actually have corrosion on the shaft. Can you see that? That's a little bit of corrosion. That's because I'm assuming because the bumper is just sitting here, it's actually sitting like this in the bike, water gets in there and you get a little bit of water and a little bit of sand, grit, whatever, and it just eats away at the metal, and it's just, just causes a little bit of corrosion over time. What's interesting is that I'm trying to decide whether this corrosion means curtains for the shock or not. I'm seeing that most of the travel ends right before the corrosion. So this corrosion may mean the end of this shock shaft or not. I haven't decided yet. We'll figure this out. So anyhow, the first thing we do is we just chuck it in our vise with the soft jaws. Oh, I should probably take out that bushing. Let's see how hard that's going to be. Stand by. Okay, so that bushing is not coming out of there. There's also no play in it, so I'm not going to fix it if it's not broke. But what we do want to do is let out all the air. See if I can get a better view here. We want to let all the air out of this thing. There should be around 175 pounds psi of air in this bladder. So let's just let the air out. I really wish I had a gauge on that. I have no idea if that sounded like 175 pounds or not. So let me move this away a little bit so I can get to work. And the whole idea, stand by. The whole idea here is to be able to push this thing down, this whole end piece down, and take out a circlip and take the shock apart. So, with the bladder empty, this is really hard to move, but it did just move a little bit. I'm trying not to. Oh, that's hard to move. Let me see, but I think I got to the circlip in here. Okay, so I did some repositioning to give myself a better angle on it. I had to fight with this thing quite a bit to get this ring out, but eventually I did get under it. And I just used my pick to get under the ring. Now that it's almost out, it should just come right out. There it goes. Wow. Stubborn guy. Circlip, ring, whatever. And then this thing, theoretically, just kind of comes out, right? This just comes out. You see this? And there's the bladder. Yee. There's that. And wow, I gotta show you this oil. Well, I don't think I can show you this oil. The smell is horrible. That's really gross. I'll give you a better look here in just a second. But the next thing we're going to do is clamp it back here in the vise and take off this little dust cover right here. And from what I understand, all you need is a pin, a punch, and just goes up under it. Knocks it right off. Is there one on the other side? Yes. That comes out. And I believe there's another circlip in there. Is there? There's a tool. Yes, there is a circlip in there. There's a tool that should allow you to press down on this and remove that circlip. But I do not have that tool. So, I'm going to come up with plan B. What? Why do I have all this? I'm having like an oil overflow all of a sudden. This is... I'm not exactly sure what's happened here. But all of a sudden I pulled my shaft out and my oil bubbled up and just about overflowed out of the bladder. So let me just dump this oil out. Wow. That's like, there's like chunks of solid matter in there. There's all kinds of good stuff in there. See if we can get a good view of this oil coming out. Ew. It's brown and it smells real bad. That's gross. Okay. So now we got to figure out how I'm going to push this piston down to get the that circlip out. Oh, and I guess that's how I'm going to do it. I just pinched myself. I just pushed it down with a little screwdriver to gain access to that circlip in there. I'm going to put this back in the vise. Anyway, so I pushed the piston down. Let me see if I can get at the circlip. Okay, well this happened a little bit quicker than I thought. I was fighting with this ring, again with my little pick here, and it just came out. This little circlip just popped out. So now, theoretically, the piston should just come out, right? No. Maybe not. I'm trying to figure this out as I go. Oh! Yuck! Oil everywhere! Okay, that was a mistake. Oh, dang it. Oh, I got, okay, so the piston's out. Okay, thanks for bearing with me. I had oil everywhere and I thought I should probably clean it up. Anyway, I got the piston out just simply by just yanking it right out of the shock. Once the circlip was gone, it was just a little bit tough to get out, but there it is. There's the piston and my compression and rebound damping stacks. Let's see, this side is compression, this side is rebound, right? Do I have that right? Yes. And that's what we're going to replace with the Racetech stuff. Here's a view of the shock body. Dirty. This will be getting cleaned. So now we're just going to take this, put it in the vise, and use a 17mm socket. Can you see that? Break the torque on the nut up here. That's a stubborn one. That guy did not want to come off. So we're just going to take everything off and lay it down in the order that it came off. There's that. Now once again, I'm going to take a piece of welding rod and just simply bend it. I just bent kind of like that. Stuck in here in the top. And the whole piston valve assembly just comes right off. Okay? The whole thing. And I'm going to take this one piece of my little welding rod here and bend it over. So there. Now I have everything off, well, except for the nut, in the order that it came off. Nothing has been disrupted, nothing has changed. So I'm going to take this, take it all and get it cleaned, and then we'll begin the reassembly of the valve section. So we'll take off this spacer. I think it's a spacer. I guess that's what you'd call that, a spacer. And I guess they call this the head seal. This is the part that goes around the shaft. This is the part that was leaking a little bit. I'll see about getting some O-rings in there replaced. But otherwise, I really don't have any issue with this. I may replace this outer O-ring and maybe a couple of those inner ones too, just to make sure it seals up properly when I put it back together. The dust seal comes off, and this is the bumper. We're actually replacing this bumper, this bottoming bumper, with a new one. This is probably original. This is a new one. So the new one is actually just a little bit taller. And that's it. I think I'm going to seek out some advice on this shaft to decide whether or not this corrosion here is actually a problem for me. I don't know, to be honest, if that's a real problem or not. We can take off this bladder while we're here. Anyhow, this is the old bladder. It's kind of smushed and deformed and stuff, and this is the new one. Okay? So, from what I understand, all you got to do is just simply peel this away, and it's just a rubber bag on a metal fitting. Let me move over to the bench. Okay, so here's my bladder. I'm just poking my little poker in here and just pulling it out. And it does just come off just like that. Well, there's no moisture in there. It's dry as a bone. And wow, that's clean. That's probably how clean it's supposed to be. Yeah. So I'll clean this part up too and put on the new bladder and put the rest of the thing together. Okay. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Okay, it's me again. As a PS, I wanted to show you this oil. This is the oil that came out of the shock, and there's actually solid matter floating around in there. This container, by the way, was clean. I just cleaned it out, wiped it out real well when I dumped the oil in it, and you can actually see solid flakes of stuff. I don't know what that is. Let me see if I can pick it out. This is, I don't know what that is. It's flexible. It's maybe it's part of a seal that broke off or something. Anyhow, this oil is gritty almost. Anyway, it's very dirty. Just wanted to share that with you. Stay tuned. Thanks.